What's up guys, TechTitan here, and I am back again with a brand new video. Welcome back to the channel. Before I begin, as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, the subscribe button is right below. And if you want to check out more videos, you're free to do so. Also, if you want to reach out to me somewhere else, I'll leave my Twitter username here, and I'll leave a link to it in the description. So yeah, if you want to follow me somewhere else, Twitter is where I'll mostly be. Alright. So in this video we're going to be reviewing the LG Aristo 2, and this is kind of an interesting phone. I feel like going from the original LG Aristo to this one, this is kind of the S model. The design has changed a little bit, but not too much. Okay, so we have a 5-inch HD IPS display. It's a 720p panel, and it does a pretty good job in outdoor condition. Now mind you, the situation outdoors as of where I'm at, it's kind of cloudy. It's not really that bright, but it did a decent job. So the display quality overall is pretty decent. So it is only 720p panel, which can bother some people, but honestly, from a normal viewing distance, you won't really be able to peep out the pixels unless you get really close to your phone, which I do not recommend. Well, we got the display out of the way. Let me talk about the design. So design is a subjective thing, and personally, I'm not a fan of the glossy surface. That's just me. So the back has this kind of shiny, glossy surface, and it's pretty slippery. I highly recommend, if you get this phone, get a case with it. It's a really slippery back. So you have your speaker on the back, and you have your 13 megapixel camera with a LED flash, and you have your power and sleep wake button. And on the left hand side you have your volume up and down, which are kind of mushy and plasticky, but that's basically the story about the design. It's a plastic design all around. Now the shiny back, the shiny glossy surface, again, I'm not a really big fan of it. But yeah, again, overall design is personal preference. I personally prefer last year's design over this year's. I'll talk about the big feature of this phone and also about the cameras in detail. But let's talk about processor and specs in general. So this one has a 1.4 GHz quad-core processor, and it supports 16 GB of storage, which is kind of low in 2018, but it does have micro SD for if you want to add additional storage. Also, this phone has 2 GB of RAM, which is pretty good considering that it's only a $60 phone, and Android 7.1.1 should help with RAM management as well. Okay, so on the bottom, I know I kind of talked about the design. On bottom, you have your 3.5mm headphone jack as well as your micro USB, and it's kind of disappointing in 2018 where everyone's kind of making the move to USB-C, even budget phones. But hopefully in the next generation, a micro USB basically dies and we only get USB-C. Okay, now everyday tasks, and I usually talk about this a lot in my reviews. It's pretty smooth, and I would expect that, especially since it's running Android 7.1.1. Again, it's not really processor hungry when it comes to normal day-to-day tasks like the phone app, the messaging app. They're pretty quick to open. Okay, so browsing the web is also kind of a reliable experience. So it loaded up the site. Now, it's not the fastest out there, but the experience overall is pretty smooth. So scrolling up and down and pinch to zoom, they're smooth for a $60 phone. You wouldn't really be saying that if it was a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago. But, these budget phones have really come a long way in general. Okay, and you have this also cool feature, and this right here, this little square. So this one allows you to pin the menu options, or to just hide them, and whenever you want them, you just swipe up. And if you want to pin them again, so if you want to pin them again, you just hit the square app. So pretty neat feature. So LG's UI, and I talked about that in the past. It's a pretty good UI. It's a pretty smooth, nothing over the top. It doesn't add any crazy features. But my God, like the only real complaint that I have about it is this ugly, disgusting settings app. Honestly, this settings app kind of feels outdated to me. It's so cluttered and unorganized. So you have your like networks on one tab, you have your sound and notification on another, the displays on another, and your general on another. And I don't know, I mean, I'm just saying, this is personal preference, but that settings app is just pure garbage to me. So in terms of gaming, don't really play heavy demanding games because you will have a hard time. You will have not so good of an experience. It doesn't really run heavy games, but for lighter titles, you should be perfectly fine. Talk about the speaker quality.
Yeah, there's plenty of cool stuff here. There's a Hyperloop test track 400 yards away from me. There's superchargers. But we're here at the Tesla Design Studio, where you often see some of their latest and greatest stuff. What we're here for is to look at their latest and greatest car.
So the speaker is a loud, backward-facing speaker. Not the best in the world, but it's loud, it's absolutely usable. It does get distorted at highest volume, but I could say that about a lot of speakers. So overall, the speaker is a B+. If it was front-facing and if it was stereo, then yeah, that's another story. Let me talk about the camera and the camera interface and picture quality. So first of all, the camera interface. The camera interface on this phone is pretty clean, and I like it. So you have your, on the right hand side, you have your back button, you have your shutter, and you have your video recording mode. Also, if you want to zoom in, all you have to do is just hold the shutter and then zoom in and out. So pretty cool. I can tell you where that came from. Shout out to Samsung. Okay, so on the left hand side you have your settings, you have your different filter option, your mode to switch to a front facing camera, as well as the LED flash if you want to turn it on or off. So the settings, let's see. So you can shoot up to 1080p for video, different ratio options, 16:9. I believe you have 4:3. Okay, no. So you can shoot up to 1080p, or if you want to change it to 720p, you can also do that. Also, you have a timer, so pretty decent options. Your HDR, your photo size, nothing crazy. Like you don't have a Pro mode or anything like that. But again, I don't think a Pro mode would make this a flagship phone. So let's talk about the picture quality. Really decent sensor considering the price point. So pictures come out crisp, clean. Now, it does have kind of a problem with dynamic range, but at $60, I mean, I kind of expected that. And okay, so the bokeh effect, it doesn't have like any crazy mode like portrait or anything like that, but the pictures come out clean and detailed, and it does a pretty good job with bokeh if you get close to a subject, so that's really good. Now, colors kind of lack a little bit. It lacks colors, and the white balance is kind of off, but again, $60 phone, people. I wouldn't expect this to compete with flagships. Now, the front-facing camera, one cool thing about it is that it is pretty wide angle, and it's usable, but it's not really the best front-facing camera. And taking pictures is really quick and it's really fast. So yeah, the camera quality on this $60 phone, and remember, keyword $60, really good. Definitely way better than a lot of phones under this price point. So yeah, so also one thing I want to mention real quick is battery life, and it's a 2410 milliamp hour battery, and the battery on here it's decent. Now keep in mind it's not the best, so be near a charger before the end of the day because you will need to refill. Let me talk about the kind of a big feature of this phone, and I got to test it out, and here's what I gotta say. So this one has, I wouldn't say Face ID, but it does have facial recognition. And it's not new to Android, honestly. So a lot of Android phones in the past have this kind of face unlock where it detects your face, and if it is you, it would unlock it. So it's not really secure, so you can't unlock it like to check your bank account or things like that. Actually, it's not really recommended, especially because it doesn't use any like facial recognition or anything like that. It basically uses the front-facing camera. And it's a hit or miss here and there, but for the most part, it's usable. Overall, this phone is a pretty good option. And who's it for? So this phone I honestly would recommend to people who want to get a backup phone, since it is only $60. Or if you're someone who wants to get a phone for their child, like their first phone or anything like that, then that's a really nice option to get. I don't think anyone would be disappointed in it, especially price to performance, price to camera. Really nice option. Now, my least favorite part about this phone is, like I said, the design. But overall, as a package, well done, LG. You guys did it with this one just like you did last year. Okay, so let me wrap up this review. I want to thank you all so much for watching this one. If you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button and become a part of Tech Titans channel. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.